Hi guys, I have Ipshita Chatterjee with me today, and she participated in Rails Girl Summer of Code. Hi Ipshita.
Hi, Swati, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about my experience at RGSoC.
Ipshita, tell me a bit about yourself, like a bit about your college and what you're currently doing and your interests.
So I am currently working at Adobe Systems out of the Noida office as a member of technical staff. And I graduated from NSIT University of Delhi in this year itself, May 2018, in computer engineering. And I was a Rails Girl Summer of Code student in the summer of 2017. And I participated in the program with the Koala project.
Right, that's great, amazing. It gives me goals just by hearing all this. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. When and how did you hear about RGSoC? Like, how did it occur to you? Like that there is an opportunity like RGSoC.
In sometime in my fifth semester, I started participating in hackathons and attending various community meetups and things like that. So as sort of an extension to all that, it was just some random browsing and also an input from my teammate Prachi on her part that we discovered this in December 2016, and we sort of decided to go for this when the applications opened in February 2017.
Right. We'll come to Prachi in a minute. Like, I have a follow-up question for her as well. So, okay, so when I was doing research on you, like I was looking into what work you have done, and I was talking to people who have known you or your juniors from college or even school. I spoke to a couple of your juniors from school. One word that came up is hardworking. Like, she's hardworking. Even in one of your Quora answers, I guess, you have just described, I think, one of your best days, I guess you said, is when you work hard and really, really hard, and you come back really tired and you fall asleep. Now, I understand that is a very admirable quality, but what else worked for you? Like, what else worked for you to get into RGSoC?
Firstly, kudos on your research. I probably wrote that answer sometime after first year of college. That's a really long time ago. But yes, as you said, I do value hard work over a lot of things because just sheer so hard work, there is really no substitute for it. But again, that is also not the only thing which gets you through. In general, for anything, and also in specific for RGSoC, most of us, especially as women in tech, have this tendency of being hesitant for applying anywhere, or mostly we are questioning ourselves if we are even worth this, are we good enough, or something like that. So I think self-belief and courage plays a lot of role in doing anything which is out of your comfort zone. So I believe you should be ready to push yourself, push your limits, push yourself out of your comfort zone, and just go for it without thinking about the consequences.
Right.
It will lead you somewhere.
Right. I'm looking at like RGSoC specifically. What do you think worked for you in your RGSoC application?
Right. So we contributed to the project, our project of first choice, Koala, during the application period. And so Prachi had some bad experience, and so me it was completely new. And I just had a bit of experience in the language of the project Python. So I had worked in a few projects before that. But for me, the open source experience was entirely new. So for us, we really reached out to the community. We talked to the project mentor and what he would look at in in the RGSoC student application. We reached out to the community. We checked out all the projects. So our project Koala had some small specific tasks set out what they would give to RGSoC students once got selected. So we checked out all the tasks and what would work for us, we do in 3 months based on our experience and skill set and how much we could achieve, and talk to the community basically, and in a nutshell reached out for help.
So that's one thing I'll take from this, reaching out relentlessly. Okay. So now coming to Prachi, you mentioned your teammate, and also you mentioned mentors and coaches. Now, as far as I know, you need 2 to 4 coaches to take part in RGSoC. So can you tell me a bit more about that? Teammates and coaches and mentors?
Right. So Prachi and I were friends right since first year of college, and we had done a few projects together. So it came very naturally to us to collaborate for this. So I understand that for some people it might not come this naturally to find a teammate, but searching, I know of students who have found their teammates via Twitter or going to meetups or just asking on community channels. So again, coming back to reaching out. So I found my teammate because I knew her for a long time, but you can find your teammate really anywhere.
Okay.
So, yeah. And as for coaches, for me, my coaches were Vidur, Tushar and Suryansh. They are our college seniors, and we had worked with them in the past, and they sort of knew us well and knew our skill sets and where we stand and how, and they exactly knew our story, so they could help us out easily, and also they had prior experience in Python, so that made us choose them.
Right. And what about mentors? Are they different from coaches? They are, right?
Yeah, so your entire team comprises of you, your teammate, minimum of 2 coaches, and a project mentor, which is the person who is responsible for making the open source organization participate in RGSoC. So you don't really have a role in choosing them. So they are the ones who volunteered to make RGSoC, make that project participate in RGSoC for us. That was Udayan from Kuala. And then there is a supervisor who's sort of a link between you, your team, and the RGSoC core committee. Again, you don't really have a role in that, so you're assigned a supervisor. For us, our supervisor was Mayar from Egypt. She's a former RGSoC student, yeah.
Right. Oh, I read about this. There was a call apparently you guys had, and you've put a very nice screenshot also of that call, I think, even with your coaches, I believe, on your blog. I will add those links in the description to this video. So if anyone wants to refer to it, they can. Now moving on, there are a lot of projects, right? When you apply, you have to pick a project. So how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so we just when the list of projects were announced, the ones which were accepted for RGSoC in 2017, we went through the list and checked out the project. So Koala really fascinated us because Koala is a platform independent language agnostic static analyzer and focuses really on code quality. So this was something which we had, a sort of a software which we hadn't come across previously, and it really captivated us. So, and both of us were looking out for Python projects majorly. So again, it was a good match with our skill set. So Koala just fit in like a hand in glove. So, and then also you also have to give a project of your second choice. So for us personally, we had spent so much time on preparing the application for our first choice project that the second choice project was a bit of a rush decision, but then we decided to go for a JavaScript project. But luckily we got through our first choice project, so that worked out well for us.
That's fabulous. something again I would try to do, get my primary project approved.
But
Okay,
don't lose heart if your primary project doesn't get approved.
right.
So a lot of times your secondary project may also work out there for you.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so moving on, what was your motivation to take part in Rails Girls Summer of Code? Like, why Rails Girls Summer?
So initially, frankly, I was just curious about open source. Then I came across this program. I just thought, let's just give this a try. But during the application period, my entire perception really changed. So I was completely fascinated about, by the way, how people from across the world with different diverse backgrounds, cultural background, professional backgrounds, technical expertise, and whatnot, they just somehow seamlessly come together to build software, guide people, and somehow seem very magical to me. I mean, I am just interacting with these people virtually, and yet here they are trying to solve my doubts in such a short response time. It was amazing. It really felt amazing. And and even for the RGSoC application, I reached out to a few previous scholars, and they took out their time to review the application, guide me through it. And I was really touched and overwhelmed by how seemingly strangers just are ready to give their time and efforts for you. So I was really fascinated by the concept of open source, and I wanted to venture into this, and I felt that RGSoC would be a right platform for me. And also a major factor was gaining technical skills and expertise in my project and Python.
Of course, of course. Now even I'm motivated to apply. I'll do this time.
Definitely, you should definitely go for it.
Okay, another thing that came up, another trait of yours that everyone from school to college said was she's a good student, she's a good student, she's a great student. So clearly academics is important to you, which I gather from it. So how did you strike a balance between academics and working on your project?
Right, who have you been talking to? I need to get back to these people. Right, so yes, I would not advise anybody to do anything at the cost of academics. So some people have this perception that these are like two parallel lanes which do not intersect, like anything extracurricular or not usually included in your curriculum, but you should sort of think of this in synergy. Yes, so for the half of the program, this program spans from July to September, and till mid of August we were on a summer break, so we could really contribute our full amount of time then. And for the latter half, when our college semester had commenced, at that time things were slightly tricky, but then in collaboration with your team, your entire team, the coaches, teammate, Prachi, and also getting immense amount of support from our supervisor, Mayar. So we did have our midterms falling during our RGSoC period, so we somehow used to work at night during those days and sometimes compensate for the hours on the weekends. And she was very supportive of all that. We had like talked to her and talked this entire thing out. And I guess it's just about striking a balance and also collaborating, I mean, taking help from people. I
Okay,
mean, don't just be afraid to reach out.
understood, understood. All right. So I read your blog, like one of your blog posts talks about a couple of challenges that you faced, or a couple of challenges that people usually face, like version control, for instance,
Right.
because students don't know all of that stuff, as you rightly mentioned in your blog post. I want to know what other challenges, apart from the ones mentioned in that post, what other challenges did you face?
So, firstly, I mean, these challenges sort of translated into what I learned from the program. So yes, as I said, balancing with academics and regular college curriculum was a challenge. It was tricky and difficult at that time. And also cross time zone collaboration. Our team was spread out across 3 time zones. Yes, we were in, both of us were in Delhi along with another coach, and our supervisor was in Egypt, and 2 of our coaches were in London and Amsterdam respectively. So cross-team collaboration, cross-time zone collaboration really taught us the importance of communicating effectively so that everybody is on the same page. And yes, there were communication gaps that needed to be filled, and as the days passed through the summer, we realized how we could communicate better. All of these are more of the soft skills, the sort of challenges that we had. And technically, writing, so testing and test-driven development was a new thing for us. So we got a really hands-on experience of that. And sometimes we were stuck because our, because our mentor somehow wasn't available at one instant of time or something like that. So we restarted the community, and then slowly we started reviewing code ourselves. So that helped us debug our own code. So it's like a process of collaborative learning. So yeah, and so okay, the most importantly, battling the imposter syndrome, the feeling of somehow you're not good enough and you don't deserve to be here. We had that a lot, and RGSoC and its experiences and the aftermath of going and speaking at a conference, all of this helped us tackle and battle our imposter syndrome in a big way.
Wow. That's truly amazing. That just shows you're a very determined person. Uh, you face so many challenges and you were still determined to like work out and learn so much. So it doesn't surprise me because I know you managed to like hold this farewell, which was not going to happen in your college, right? You single-handedly got approval from everywhere. So it just shows the grit. I have really nice
Oh,
sources.
not about me. Kudos, you have done your research well.
Yes, yes, I have my sources, which will not be revealed. But that's truly fabulous. I'm inspired. So, moving on, what advice would you give to people who are planning to apply to RGSoC? Because even truly, honestly, even I'm looking at applying. So, what advice would you give? What resources should we use? Where should we learn from? Whether it's about Git, whether it's about other things, how should we go about it?
Yeah, so like right now, you do have a lot of time for the application process because RGSoC just ended uh, like right now. So just build so RGSoC requires you to have some basic proficiency in any particular language in which you're looking to do your project in. So while there are a plethora of languages and technologies which are up for grabs through RGSoC, so whatever interests you, just start learning and building basic projects and putting them up on GitHub or GitLab, whatever works for you. So in the process, you'll learn how version control works. And really, Git might be overwhelming when you go for it initially, but you probably don't need to go into all of the depths of VCS. Just a few basic commands will get you started, and you'll pick up the rest as you go.
Right.
And Google away completely. And also for RGSoC in specific, their blog itself is a very good resource, and they are very active on Twitter. And also, as I said, reach out to former scholars. coaches, mentors, anybody who's been associated with this program or similar programs. You might, and you don't need to know them personally. I mean, you can just introduce yourself as an aspirant, and more likely than not, they'll be ready to help you out. And don't be disappointed if you don't get responses, and don't take it personally. Perhaps they have something going on, but just reach out to multiple people. It's very important to have good mentors to guide you through, because anything anybody achieves in life is done singly by that person. It takes a village, as the quote goes. So you don't be afraid to reach out for help. You don't think of whether they're willing to help me out. If not them, then somebody else. Just reach out, and people will more likely than not be there to help you out.
Got it.
And again, just go for it.
Right.
Just don't think twice. Go for it.
Done. I'm so motivated. I will do this as soon as I get over with this interview. You were a sponsored student, but I'm pretty sure there are like a lot of other ways to get involved with RGSoC, right? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so if you're a student who's looking to venture into open source, you could be a volunteer. You could choose to be a volunteer student. So you could work on the project and not be given a stipend or somehow a partial stipend. That depends upon the sponsorship gets that year, and you'll be asked in your application if you're okay with being a volunteer. If it works for you, then great, and that's one way. And you could also volunteer to be a coach for students. If you have been in open source and the technical domain for some time and wish to give back to the community in some way, this is an excellent way to do it. It won't take up much of your time. You're just helping out students with the basics, and it is a completely really fulfilling experience. So you could be a coach, and if you're a project owner, if you have an open source project, if you're a maintainer, then do consider participating in RGSoC and getting students to work on it full time for 3 months. And again, it's a very fulfilling experience to see students learn and grow throughout. And also you will be associated with an amazing community. And again, and if you want to volunteer for the RGSoC core team, that's there as well. And the contacts are there on the web.
Right.
So this is all about it.
Now I'm spoiled for options. I'll have to sit down and see which one matches me and my profile. Okay. So one essential question, like I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching this interview or will watch this interview would want to know, what did you honestly take from this program? What were your key takeaways? What impact did this program create on the participants? Please tell us.
Right. So in terms of the technical skills, I really learned how software is built, essentially. Because mostly in our college projects, the code we write is just fit for our own eyes and not for anyone else. And that's not really how things are in the industry. You're collaborating with a lot of people who are working on same or similar features at the same time. And so it's essentially easy to collaborate and build software. The importance of design, the features we integrated a lot of time went into thinking about design, and that's extremely essential as you in the industry. Design matters very much. The importance of testing and how to write tests and how to debug and all of that. And in terms of the soft skills, again, collaborating for whatever. I mean, if you're stuck somewhere, just ask for help. And if you're not feeling up to the mark someday, just share and reach out, network with people, and RGSoC also gives you tickets for attending a conference. So we attended Code Motion Berlin in October 2017, and we were the youngest speakers there, and we were so overwhelmed by the fact that people wanted to hear our story. Actually, we never thought that anybody would be interested in knowing about us. So, and there are so many people with similar experiences, and this program really gave me an exposure to people, experiences, and an amazing community outreach. So both the Koala and the RGSoC communities are great, and I am still associated with both of them in some way or the other, and I will continue to do so, because this program has really given me a lot in every aspect.
That's wonderful. I think that's a journey of winning over the imposter syndrome. Very
Definitely,
beautiful.
definitely.
Okay. So one question, this is an add-on question from the forms that I had sent out for this interview specifically to my peers who want to know. And this is the best question that came up. So this one question, because otherwise we'll overshoot the time limit. So here it goes. If you were to repeat the entire process of RGSoC again, what is that one thing that you would do the same? And what is that one thing that you would do differently? One thing you were truly happy with, one decision, and one decision that you would modify a little in retrospect.
So definitely my team. I would want my team all over again. My supervisor, my coaches, my teammate, I would definitely wish to work with them again, and perhaps even newer people. I mean, we had 3 coaches, we could have extended it to 4. And I mean, and the team aspect, and what we could have done differently was somehow we didn't realize the importance of communication and seeking help in the initial stages. So we did spend a lot of time being stuck on things and getting nowhere and feeling frustrated in the process. So reaching out, I mean, ASAP. I mean, no question is too stupid or too trivial to be asked. So reaching out, just reaching out at the very beginning.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so there is this fun segment that I wanted to add because just for fun, it'll take 2 minutes. I will say one word or a phrase, and you just have to say the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear that phrase. It's like a rapid fire sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So ready?
Right.
Okay. Large code bases.
Scary, but gotta do it.
Right. Pair programming.
Amazing.
Coaches.
Very helpful.
Mentors.
And helpful.
College farewell.
Nostalgia.
Diversity.
Essential. Very.
Python.
Nice.
NSIT.
Yeah.
And the last one, software engineering.
Profession as well as passion.
Noted. It was a wonderful experience talking to you. I am so glad that you agreed to do this. Genuinely thankful. I hope we stay in touch after this interview. Thank you so much, Ipshita. Do you have any parting thoughts?
Thank you, Swati, and the entire Rethink team. You guys are doing a great job. And please, I would ask anybody who's watching this interview to reach out to me if you need any help, and any of the RGSoC community or any community in general. People are always there to help you out. Just go for it.